So you've all got your hands on Cyberpunk 2077, and if you've been playing the game non-stop like I have, you will know that there's a ton of variety when it comes to the weapons. But hidden out in the world amongst all of them are much rarer, special weapons that fall under the category of iconic. You see, iconic weapons are the most unique weapons in the game. They usually come with a special skin and other unique properties that make these a lot better than some of their counterparts. However, they can be easy to miss. So to make sure that you guys don't miss out, here are 5 iconic weapons that you can find early in Cyberpunk 2077. Starting with an iconic tech pistol that goes by the name of Lizzy. Lizzy is one of the strongest weapons that you can find in the early game of Cyberpunk, and that's mainly down to its ability to fire an extra round per shot and its ability to output a great amount of thermal damage. In addition to this, it can actually be charged to increase the number of rounds fired per shot, and comes with stat boosts to thermal damage, burn chance, charge time, and a headshot damage multiplier of 1.20, which all come together to make this thing a DPS machine. But how do you get the weapon? Well, you can actually get this quite early on during the second act of the game, but it can be easily missed. Near the beginning of Act 2, right after you leave Tom's diner, you'll be given a main mission called Automatic Love, which calls on you to meet Judy at Lizzy's bar. Once you find yourself in Lizzy's bar, head on over to the downstairs section where you had your first run-in with Judy. But just before you move into the room where Judy is, if you look to the left, sitting on a table, is exactly where you will find the iconic pistol known as Lizzy. Coming up next, we have Fenrir, an iconic power SMG that slots in perfectly with players who prefer that run and gun style of play. Not only does Fenrir deal thermal damage and have an increased chance of applying burn to enemies, it's been developed with a focus on reduced bullet spray and increased impact, but does suffer from a higher recoil. Overall, the boosted thermal damage, burn chance, and critical chance, coupled with its decent DPS and headshot multiplier, makes it an iconic weapon you would definitely want in your arsenal, especially if you enjoy setting people on fire. Now, Fenrir can be found during a side job called Losing My Religion. It's a very small and quick quest line that can be found in the north side of Watson in this location on the map. Once here, you will find a monk who will task you to find and help his brother from some Maelstrom thugs. And if you simply follow the quest along, taking out all of the enemies in your path, you'll notice that right next to the monk's brother on a stand is where you will find the iconic power SMG Fenrir. If picking enemies off from a distance is more you are seeing though, then look no further than the Widowmaker, which is an iconic tech precision rifle that comes fitted with a uniquely blue appearance. The incredible DPS of the Widowmaker comes from its ability to fire 2 projectiles per shot, which then deal chemical damage and have a chance to apply poison on a successful hit. And although the charge time of 2 seconds and charge multiplier of 0.20 is pretty average, the 33% chance of poisoning enemies more than makes up for it. To find this masterpiece of chemical warfare, you'll need to proceed to the second act of the main story, where you'll find yourself completing missions alongside Panam. The Widowmaker can be found in the 9th mission during this arc, which is called Ghost Town, and on screen right now will also be the quests in order until you get to this one. The mission itself will have you accompany Panam on a journey of revenge against a man named Nash, and after taking care of his buddies, you'll find yourself facing off against him in a cave. Once dead, make sure to search his body, as that's where you'll find the Widowmaker safely tucked away. Perfect for any player that prefers to get up close and personal to enemies, the Scalpel is an iconic katana that comes fitted with a blade that deals increased electrical damage. Better yet, when Sandy Vistan is active, the Scalpel's critical chance is increased by 50%, and all hits apply bleeding. Overall, this is an amazing katana with a solid DPS, and also comes with a boost to electric damage and shock chance, making it a great choice for anyone who wants to try out a melee build or has a tendency to run out of ammo more often than not. Now, to get this weapon, you'll need to find a man named Dennis in the Afterlife Club. He can be found in this location on the map, and he'll ask you to retrieve a package on his behalf, which just so happens to be another human being. After carrying the package to safety and eliminating the tiger claws along the way, you'll find yourself standing in front of Dennis once again, and perched up against a barrel right next to him is where you will find the iconic Scalpel. Making the first honourable mention of this list is another iconic pistol known as Chaos, which is a decent weapon to use when you are facing off against a multitude of enemies who are each resistant to different effects. What makes the Chaos helpful in these situations is that it has a randomized critical hit chance, damage type, and status effect after every reload, making its output a surprise each and every time you use it. Overall, it's a decent early game weapon to pick up, probably better than some of the other weapons you will have at this time, but you will most likely end up replacing it with another weapon at some point. That being said, I'd still advise you get your hands on it, as you can get this very early on. In fact, it can be found as early as Act 1, where the main campaign takes you towards the mission called the Pickup. If you simply follow this mission along, and towards the end of the mission, when you and Jackie make it inside of the Maelstrom base and end up talking to Dum Dum, you'll finally be confronted by the boss himself, known as Royce. When you get the option to kill Royce, simply take it, and then his weapon will drop on the ground, waiting for you to pick up. For the second honourable mention of this list, we have the Dying Knight, which is an iconic power pistol that comes with an increase to its headshot damage and significant decrease to its reload time. There aren't many other bells and whistles attached with this, since it's one of the first iconic weapons you'll actually come across, so if you are at the very start of the game, you may as well pick this up and add it to that collection of yours. In fact, you can actually collect this iconic weapon as soon as you leave your apartment for the first time. Simply visit the weapon vendor by the name of Wilson a few feet away from your apartment, and you'll find that he's been keeping the weapon for you. Simply purchase it for 0 eddies and it will be waiting for you in your inventory. And for the final weapon of the video, we have the Kongu Power Pistol. And this is definitely worth getting, as it comes packed with some well-rounded stats that include a surprisingly low recoil, making it incredibly handy for headshot heaven. Thanks to some high tier mods, the user of Kongu is also able to make use of its advanced ricochet technology without needing any additional cyberware. It comes packed with a boost to physical damage, bleeding chance, critical chance, and headshot multiplier of 1.20. Fitting it with a quality silencer and attacking from stealth will take full advantage of these stats, making for a deadly weapon for those of you stealth builds out there. Now, the weapon itself can be found very early on in Act 1 of the main story. You'll eventually come across a story mission called The Heist. This quest will task you to steal an item known as the Relic from Yorinobu's room. Once you eventually make it to his room, instead of taking a left where the relic is, you take a right and go into his bedroom. And on an end table by his bed is where you will find the iconic weapon in all of its glory. And that's it for the video. Drop a like if you want to see more weapon guides from me in the future, and I'll catch you guys in the next Cyberpunk video. Peace.